Going to weddings is incredibly expensive. Hello and welcome back to Sassy with Miki and Kev. It has been a tumultuous couple of weeks.
What do you mean? I made the last episode myself.
Yeah, but
Miki has
there's just
been
been
busy.
like a lot of things going on in our lives. Today we both sustained some injuries while we were trying to reallocate our home furniture, but it's just really hard being an adult. Like I feel like just figuring out adult things are a full-time job in addition to the full-time jobs that you already have, and we also just like are not the best at outsourcing some of our life responsibilities off. So
Is that why we're sitting on the, what is this called? The
ground.
The ground?
Yeah, that's what I was going to segue into. You probably have seen that the podcast setup has changed drastically every single week.
It's not because we have so much time on our hands. We just want to rearrange everything. It's because
like that coffee table was honestly kind of uncomfortable. Like it was very chic for the house, but it was a little uncomfortable because of the way that it was shaped. We couldn't tuck our knees or our legs underneath, and so you kind of had to be hunched over the entire time.
And the height of it was like too low, but if it was any lower it'd be better. If it was taller it'd be better, but it was just
it was a perfect height for discomfort.
Yeah, and then we had to put this what is this called?
The rug
underneath the couch, but then we couldn't slide it underneath because it was too big.
The entire couch. I do want to let you know that we had to return this coffee table back to Target, and that was one of the most distressing things. Okay, when I cannot check something off my to-do list, it like sucks the life out of me.
How much was it?
It was $250, but the issue was that the coffee table, we had assembled it. Kevin had assembled it.
I assembled it like at 11 p.m. at night.
And normally when you turn things, you have to disassemble it, but Kevin was like, I'm not disassembling that.
We didn't have a box for it. Where do we put all the stuff?
So I was like, okay, well, fine. We can try to return it to Target. They're usually really nice, but if we run into someone who's not nice, they're not going to let us return it. And we go there and we get in like little micro fights along the way because Kevin's like, okay, I'm going to park down there. And I'm like, no, the returns is upstairs, so we need to park upstairs. And he's like, well, there's no parking here. And I'm like, well, we need to get parking because we cannot lug. I mean, it's a huge table. It's very heavy. And then once we get into the thing, we like have it on a shopping cart. And I'm like, you need to take it off the shopping cart.
Why?
And he's like, why don't we just leave it on here? And I was like, because it looks massive. Like
it looks massive either way.
We're trying to convince this person to let us return it.
I built it
without like any issues. And if it looks huge, he's gonna be like, why didn't you disassemble it? Long story short, he was very nice and he did let us return it. I would like to say I feel less stressed, but I don't.
You got we got our money back, and now we have no coffee table.
Yeah, that's why we're sitting on the ground. Anyways, today we were talking about wedding stuff, wedding season.
Your wedding?
Yeah.
Our wedding?
We'll chat a little bit about like my wedding and your wedding are different weddings.
Probably. We'll be interested in different parts of it.
I feel like when you are in your 20s, you're kind of in the season of life where everybody is getting married. Like you yourself are planning a wedding, and then everyone around you is also getting married. It's a time in your life where you're being bombarded by wedding stuff. Would you agree?
I don't have that many friends, but yes.
That's not true. I feel like you have more weddings to attend than I do.
I went to like 3 weddings last year, right? Or this last school year.
Because you're a little older than me, so I feel like your friends are all in that ripe age, that like perfect sweet spot.
Yeah, but none of my friends have had kids yet.
But they're all getting married.
Yeah.
Today we're going to be talking a little bit about wedding etiquette, do's, don'ts, what to do if someone's wedding is too dang expensive to attend, all of the juicy details and things that I feel like people don't talk about, but
I haven't really thought about it. I would want to learn from you.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So in your early 20s, that's when you start to get invited to weddings from friends, right? Like you grow up kind of going to like family weddings and things, but I feel like there's a little bit of a lull. And then in your early 20s, that's when you first get invited to weddings. Initially, it's super exciting going to weddings because it's such an exciting time for the people that you want to celebrate, and there's not that many. So every single wedding you attend is super exciting.
Yeah, I mean, most weddings are an exciting thing to do.
I would say, and maybe this is a hot take, but I enjoy going to the wedding purely only because I like the people I'm going to the wedding for. Like the actual wedding, like that's not something I would choose my day doing. Do you know what I'm saying?
I mean, how far are you going for the wedding? Are you traveling somewhere, or are you...
I mean, some weddings are just like local, and some of them are like, you know, require up to 3 to 6 hours of travel. Some of them are international.
I mean, I think the more hot take is I don't necessarily care who's getting married. It's like who else is going. Like it's the reunion.
What?
Well, is this even more controversial? You don't actually spend that much. Like the people who are getting married are very busy, right? Everybody's there for them. So like you only spend a few minutes, like maybe taking a picture with them, saying hi and saying a couple words. And what do you do the rest of the time? You just hang out with people, everyone else or whoever else is there, right? So like,
wow, babe, that is a very juicy.
Well, no, but I'm serious. I went to a couple weddings last year where like
you got to see your high school or your college friends.
Well, like the issue is that when you're in residency, I think this is a specific problem for doctors, is that you have friends from a lot of specific parts of your life, right? So I have high school friends, I have college friends, I have med school friends, and now I have residency friends. So I went to a co-resident's wedding and he has like friends from like 4 different time points in his life, right? And then his partner is also like a resident. So then there's like, I guess they went to med school together, but there's like 6 different groups of people that are just like hang out in their own little groups. And if they're in the wedding party, maybe they've interacted with each other. But it's like, I just spent most of my time with my co-residents for the wedding because that's who I know. Maybe like spend some time with some other people, right? It's hard to like commingle when it's only like a day or two. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. You're only there purely to celebrate the people that are getting married because you love them and that's why you show up, right? Because personally, and again, hot take, but weddings are not like, they're fun, but they're not that fun. Like, a lot of it is very boring. It's a lot of formalities. Like, do you agree?
What? So no, it's very nice. I like to see like the parents and like their like, it's like very
Here's
cute.
the truth. Not every wedding is like fun because everybody has a different definition of fun, and there's also different like customs for different people, and like some people have to have the wedding per their parents' request or per their grandparents, and like things that may not appeal to every single audience, right? Because like you said, there's such a big pool of so many people attending a wedding that not every part of it is obviously catered to you. And like I love the ceremony part and like getting to see like the bride walk down, and like I'm always like teary-eyed crying because it's just such like a beautiful moment, right? And then like if the food is good, that's great.
So ideally, like if you were attending someone's wedding, what would be the most awesome thing like as a guest to have?
The most important thing to me is that they themselves have a good time. I'm obviously just a guest. Like, it's not that important what I think. Like, as long as they're happy, that's most important to me. And then, like, yeah, if the food is great, that's great. Not every wedding is in a place that you want to go either, right? Like, okay, do you agree with that? That not every wedding is in a desirable
Well, they
location.
just try to make it make sense for the families, right?
Right. And so sometimes, like, let's say a wedding's in Hawaii. Like, obviously, we're super stoked. We can extend the vacation and stay there longer.
But let's say we have a wedding. We're invited to a wedding in, like, Paris.
Okay. So I am invited to a wedding in Europe next year.
You are? Am I invited?
Yes, you are invited as my plus one.
Are we able to go?
Actually, we have 2 weddings in Europe. But basically, I've never been to Europe. You've never been to Europe.
I have been to Europe.
Oh, you have been to Europe. Sorry. Where in Europe have you been?
I've been to Italy.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
what about
I'm very
Paris?
cultured. No.
Have you been to Lake Como?
How do you say no in French?
You only know oui?
Oui, oui. 2 we's make a no.
Have you been to Lake Como?
No bien. No.
Anyway, so that's where the wedding is, and
Is that supposed to be very nice?
that wedding is obviously very nice. It's by Lake Como, and it's for somebody I care a lot about, and I would love to be there. Is it a huge commitment to kind of drop your life and travel internationally for this time period? 100%. And then an added layer of that is that Kevin cannot come with me, which means that I still haven't had this conversation with her yet, but I need to ask the bride if she's okay with me bringing somebody else, or if she would not want me to bring a plus one altogether, because everybody has different preference, right? And it's her wedding, so ultimately...
Are you gonna go?
I need to chat with her about it because it is a little bit harder, like, for me to navigate because I've, like, never traveled there before. Like, I can definitely figure it out, but it would definitely be easier if I took a friend or something. But again, it's her wedding. Like, for me, if I invite you and I give you a plus one, I don't particularly care who that plus one is. I just want you to be able to, like, have somebody with you, right? But for other people, it's like, I don't want anybody at the wedding that I don't know.
Yeah.
And that I completely respect that as well.
Kids at the wedding?
No.
No kids?
No kids.
What about the age cutoff?
What's the age cutoff? Wait, are we talking about our wedding now?
You don't want kids at our wedding?
I don't want little kids at the wedding, and I don't think anybody who we're inviting has little
Like to the
kids.
ceremony parts.
I don't think we have any little kids in our guest list.
No, we don't. But if there were, you would say no kids at the ceremony.
Yeah.
Who would be the flower girl?
That's not a little kid. That's like an older kid. Like no babies.
Oh, no babies. Okay.
Okay. So when I initially got engaged, a lot of people slid in my DMs and were just saying about like wedding drama and drama that they had experienced. Because I had put something on my story and was like, oh my God, if you have any stories, like let me know. This happens more often than you think, where the maid of honor is designated maid of honor beforehand, let's say like a year in advance, and then the maid of honor gets pregnant and gives birth before the wedding so she can show up to the wedding. But is it unreasonable to ask the maid of honor to then not bring her baby to the wedding if it's a newborn?
Why is that so complicated?
What would you do?
Just bring the baby.
You would allow the baby?
Yeah.
Okay, so personally, I would also allow the baby because
It's just a baby.
if I have designated this woman as my maid of honor,
They can bring her baby.
Yeah, it's probably like my most important person in my life.
The baby's
Like-
probably somebody you care about too.
Yeah, and obviously in an ideal world, there would be no babies, but I can't. If she got pregnant and she had a baby and she still wants to support me on my big day, even though she has a newborn, like that to me means much more. And obviously if she has like a family member or somebody who can maybe like help watch the baby too while she's there, like they're more than welcome to come to the wedding as well. And so the controversy is that a lot of people are saying that they shouldn't allow the baby.
I don't think it's a big deal. It's just a baby.
So would you, if it were up to you, would you allow all babies and kids?
Depends on the person.
So it depends on the kid, is what you're saying.
Yes, of course.
So Kevin and I actually, mostly because we're both forgetful, we have had a running notes app list of people who we would invite to our wedding since a long time ago.
I don't know if I have one anymore.
Because I think like a couple years ago we had this conversation. We were like, how many guests would we have?
Like more than 50, you think?
And then we started to write everything down, and the people we're inviting is for sure less than 50, but with plus ones and everything, I will admit that we have gone through and removed people.
Oh my
and
gosh, you mean
added
you
people.
have?
No, you have too. I mean, there have been people who have just become closer to us and also not been as close to us. And for us, we want a pretty intimate situation where everyone, like, I want to see everyone at my wedding and like feel happy and joy. Like, if I don't feel that, like, they should not be at the wedding.
Where are we going to have the wedding? Is everybody who is going to, we are going to invite, are they going to show up to our wedding?
I can't say like 100%, obviously. And I think, you know, financially, if we do a destination wedding, people need to be able to travel. Like, I would never take offense to somebody not being able to come to my wedding because it didn't make sense for their budget. But that's the other thing. Like, going to weddings is incredibly expensive. Can we talk about that? And what are your thoughts on
Like,
it?
I had to go to New York for a wedding during a holiday weekend, and the flights and stuff were very expensive.
Do you consider not going at all, or?
I think I had to go to that wedding, but there's always, you can always talk to the person and talk about it, right?
Yeah.
But that only happens once in your life, and like sometimes, you know, you can't. It's just money. You have to spend the money to do it.
Yeah, I do. I share the same belief. I do think that a wedding, I mean, genuinely, it mostly only happens once per lifetime, and it really does mean a lot to the person who you are showing up for. And it's really the only time, a wedding and a funeral, those are the only two times where you can kind of congregate all the people that you love together. I think the hardest part is when, you know, financially it's difficult, and an added layer of that is when that person is not super close to you. Like, they're right in that sweet spot where it's like, I don't know if I can say no, but I also maybe should say yes. I think that's the most difficult for me.
Are there people that you would pay, like you would do like financial aid for you to go to your wedding?
Like, I would give financial aid for them to come to my wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think because everybody on our guest list is so close to us, if somebody were to tell me that like they needed help or something, I would be more than happy to help them.
Would anybody say that though?
I don't think so. But if they genuinely, like, if they had the courage to ask me, I would of course say yes.
Like, you can crash with us at our hotel.
Maybe not with us, but
Okay.
in a different room. What about you?
I don't know. I haven't thought about it that much.
would you say your friends are generally financially more well off than you, actually?
Probably. I think that my issue with my friends is a lot of my friends are very good at planning. So we have to...
Aren't or
are not good at planning. Like, we're very spontaneous and whatever. So need to like make sure things are like correctly set up, like the timing and everything before.
It's a wedding. Like, there's going to be a date and a
Yeah.
time.
But like we are so bad at planning other stuff. We just kind of...
Are you talking about your college friends?
All of them.
All of them?
All of them. Probably also it's mostly my fault.
It's probably just a guy thing. Like, I feel like things are just more spontaneous. You guys can all be like, okay, yeah, this weekend, all right,
It's
let's
like,
go.
oh, okay, let's do it. And it ends up being like 5 times more expensive than if we had planned it.
Yeah. I think genuinely it's okay to not be able to make a wedding if you have an honest conversation with the bride and groom and just be honest about what the situation is, you know, your intention and why you can't attend, and send a gift. That's what I would do. The other thing that Kevin and I have started doing is that we have started splitting up our weddings, because it is double the price for us to both show up to a wedding. And so some for your friends that only you are close to, and then my friends that only I am close to, like, we will just go if we have our own circles there. And that's kind of helped a little bit as well.
Do you think your parents would invite people to the wedding? Like, how many invites are we allowing them to?
I'd say my parents are pretty chill. And because
But
we have a small family...
This is the one event.
But because we have a small family, it wouldn't be that many. Like, it's not like we have a massive family or anything. I'm not choosing between, like, aunts and uncles and cousins, and it's not complicated like that. What about you?
I don't think there's that many people to invite. Maybe like a max 10. What if my
that's
brother?
10 people
What if
just
my
with
brother
your...
wants to bring a girlfriend too? You know?
Yeah, your brother can bring a girlfriend.
Plus one.
That's fine. Or like if your brother wants to bring some friends, like that's completely fine by me.
Yeah.
Your brother will probably be in college when we have our wedding,
Yeah.
which is exciting for him because he could actually have like a college bros trip.
I guess.
Here are the potential locations for our wedding. Okay.
Seattle, Washington.
We do have quite a lot of people who would be traveling internationally to come to our wedding, so we do need to be mindful of them. It's best that it's on the West Coast or Hawaii, kind of where more on this side, because it's a halfway point for a lot of people in Asia.
We don't have that many people in Asia. Like 10 people.
We only have 50 people on the guest list.
Yeah.
So that's like 20%.
Yeah. Most people are here in the West Coast though.
Yeah, most people are on the West Coast. So the top candidates would obviously be one, California, specifically
Somewhere nice. Ohio Valley Inn.
Ojai would be amazing. That would be such a dream come true.
Really?
Ojai Valley.
What if we just
Inn.
do it on a boat off like so
Off
no one
the
can
coast?
leave? That's like the thing. You can't leave.
Why would you force people to stay? If they want to leave, they should be
jump
able to
off the
leave.
boat.
On a yacht?
Yes.
I didn't realize that a yacht just meant like a
It's
bigger
more than
boat.
40 feet or something.
Yeah, I
Yards,
thought a
40.
yacht was like a specific type of boat, but
Like a big
apparently
one. It's a big one.
I'm not in the right tax bracket to know what the
How
definition
do you spell yacht?
YACHT. Yacht. Anyways, what was I saying? Okay, so top contenders would be SoCal, specifically Ojai/LA-ish area, or San Diego. Number 2 would be the Bay, obviously, because that's my hometown and it would be really nice. Like, you know, maybe even like Napa or something.
You'd start drinking wine now.
That's
Just
the
need a
other
venue.
thing. Speaking of, okay,
Alcohol.
so alcohol, okay.
We
Maybe
pay-
you guys can let us know in the comments. So I personally don't really drink a lot of alcohol, and Kevin can drink, but when he is with me, he doesn't really drink that much alcohol.
I don't drink when I'm not with you either.
No, but like you're okay to drink, right? Like
Yeah.
you wouldn't be torn either way. For me, I don't care about alcohol at all. But would it be bad if we didn't offer alcohol to our guests? Because I'm sure our guests would want something to drink.
Sure, we can just buy a bunch from like Costco or something.
It would need to be like an open bar, and they'd be able to like get like a special drink with a special name.
a Mickey drink, Yakult mix. You would drink some of that.
Ooh, Calpico Yakult, I like
Yeah.
that. But let us know, like, is that something that would be really important to people? Because I genuinely don't know.
Some people like the goal is to get people like drunk at a wedding, right?
And like have fun, right?
Yeah,
I mean, if
but we
that's
can-
what people need to have fun, that's fine. We'll have an open bar.
Like if my mom gets a couple drinks, she might like dance and stuff, you know?
Oh, my dad would really enjoy
Yeah,
like
your
a,
dad,
like a
yeah.
beer on tap or something.
Yeah.
Next up, contenders.
If we do it in California, we can cater the In-N-Out truck.
Yeah, that would be, I would love to do that if it was in California. Okay, if not in California, Seattle is actually a viable option.
Or like around, not like in the city, but
Like
they
the
have
Pacific Northwest in general is a
Yeah.
viable option. I guess my only concern with that is that there are so many people who are traveling that I would want to make sure they have a good experience, aka it would need to be in the summertime.
which is fine.
We probably would want a more summer-y wedding anyways. And then finally, our
Hawaii.
last contender is Hawaii.
Kauai.
Hawaii.
Yeah, but a lot of people have to travel, but it'd be a nice vacation.
Yeah, and I think for people who are traveling, they would be able to extend their stays and have a good time. And it would be, instead of just a wedding, like you would be able to spend time with us like before or after the wedding, because actual wedding day is pretty busy, right?
Yeah, we can have like an event, like we could all go ATV riding or like horseback riding as a group or
Yeah.
paintballing or something.
Yeah, that
Like,
would be so much
I don't
fun.
know why like weddings don't like do activities, you know? It's just like them sitting, like it's like dinner, sit down, like roll around or something. It's like family
Kevin
versus...
wants an itinerary.
Yeah, like Mickey's family versus my family, like whoever invited, like a paintball gun fight or like
That would be
something,
fun.
or like we all go surfing, like lessons, to, like wake up in the morning and go yoga, like
Yeah, I do feel
like a
like that would be a lot of
mandatory
fun.
like event. Everybody goes together.
Yeah, I feel
you
like
know?
that would be fun.
Like kind of like a itinerary,
Like a
based-
retreat,
Yeah,
but a
treat.
wedding.
Yes.
Yeah, I do think it would be really fun to plan a fun thing. And I would also love to take out the parts of the wedding that we're just not interested in.
Like which part?
Like some of the formalities I feel like are just unnecessary.
Like which part?
Like the first dance.
You
I'm
don't-
good without a dance.
You don't want to dance with me?
It's
You don't
not
want to dance with your
you.
dad?
It's not that I don't want to dance with him.
You know, he's been looking forward to that moment his whole life.
Has
you
he been?
know? I don't know.
I don't know. Are you going to dance with your mom?
My mom wants to do it.
She wants to do
Yes.
it? Okay, I guess we'll keep it in the itinerary.
Yes.
We can have an open discussion.
We can do all the combinations. Whoever wants to do one.
Rather,
Do you
instead
think your
of
dad
first
wants to
dance,
make a speech?
your dad would want to
My
give
mom
a
and dad
speech?
both want to make a speech. Your mom would definitely want a speech. Then you have to translate.
Oh,
But she
yeah,
would
we
do-
will have to translate it because
Do
my
we
mom's
need to
gonna do
hire
it
a
in Mandarin.
translator, or do you want to just like have her just do it?
Wait, are
Actually,
your parents going to give the speech in Mandarin or English?
I think my mom would give a Chinese speech, and my dad would try to do an English speech. Like he would just be one of his like lectures.
Wait, who's going to give our funny speeches? Who's going to be your best man?
Do I have to have a
know.
best man? Not just let it be, you know.
Do you have someone in mind who's like, this is actually the top?
No,
top
they're
friend?
none of them are good at speeching.
You don't have a ranking of your friends in your head?
No, they're not very good at speeching.
Who's your best friend?
I don't know. You are my best friend.
Yeah, you're supposed to say that I'm your best friend.
You're the one I'm getting married to. You cannot give a speech. I guess you can give a speech.
I will give a speech.
Oh God, I
I'll
don't
give a
want
little
to. I
speech.
don't want to know this speech.
Why not?
Okay,
Who would I have give my speech?
I will give your speech.
I feel like I know who would give the best speech. Do you know who
Yeah.
I'm thinking of?
It would be very, very aw.
I feel like the girls one is never funny. It's just heartwarming. The guys one is the one that's supposed to be funny.
Oh my gosh.
Who would give a funnier speech out of your friends?
I don't think any of them speech would be very funny.
It
Half
would be
of-
funny to them.
Half of them would just like laugh and then also just be super embarrassed that they're giving a speech.
Like your two best guy friends, if they asked you to give a speech,
Oh, I
and
would
they
make a good speech.
You would
I
do it?
Yeah.
Would you need a piece of paper or would you wing it?
I would need a piece of paper.
You would prepare?
Yes.
Really? The same way you prepare
I
for
have
the
to probably
proposal
need.
speech?
I would also probably need them to like sign off on it because some of the things I'd say might not be appropriate.
Oh,
based
you would
on-
run it by them.
Yes,
Oh, you're a good best man.
I feel like like there's sometimes grandmas and grandpas that they
That's
cannot
true.
like college friends that cannot be talking about some of the things.
Would you be sad if nobody in your life asked you to be the best man?
No, it's fine.
You don't care?
I don't care.
Do you think I would be sad if nobody asked?
Yes.
I don't think I care that much, actually.
If you thought someone was maybe going to ask you, then they didn't, then you'd be sad.
Here's the thing. I don't like planning that much, so I'm okay not to be. But I have like 3 close girlfriends. If any of them needed me to, I would pull through and I would plan the dopest thing ever.
You don't
But-
need to be the maid of honor though.
Yeah, and I'm happy to plan even without the title. Like, let's say they have sisters or something. That's completely. I think actually all 3 of my girlfriends, they all have sisters. So I would not be the maid of honor for any of them. But I'm happy to do all the planning for them if they need me to. I don't need the title. I don't care though. But I'm like, it would be nice if like.
It'd be nice if I had a title.
No, that's not what I was gonna say.
Okay. Anyways, weddings are a celebration of 2 people and their families.
Okay, so one idea I had for a wedding actually.
Zoom
so-
wedding.
What the flip? No. In my dream scenario, in my head, if I was filthy rich and a billionaire, I would pay for everybody's flights, everybody's hotels, and I would comp everything. And
That would be very hard.
yeah.
I think if we rented out like a big like mansion or something, it could possibly cover the room and board, but there's no way we would cover like transportation or anything like that.
Yeah, it would be very difficult. And then we also have some friends who are very bougie, so they would want to fly like first class
my
or something.
gosh.
And we are
Southwest.
we're still out here struggling. So speaking of wedding budgets, I feel like a decade ago you could get away with like 10 to 30K for a wedding, and that was like a relatively nice wedding. Now the cheapest wedding we have been to, I think, is around the 30K mark.
Really? That's very well done for 30K then.
Yeah. No, it was when she told me it was only 30K, I was shocked. How much was your wedding from?
Oh, like way more than...
Really?
It was like 3 days.
Oh, that's true. I think the most expensive wedding we went to was maybe 200.
Can we just have that as a down payment for our home? Who's paying for all that? Is it the families?
Yes, which I don't know
Should we
what
talk
we're gonna
about
do.
it? Should we talk about it? Are we just paying for it?
I mean, I think we need to have a conversation and see like what the budget is looking like, because like all of my friends have been telling me like a decent wedding is between like not a fancy wedding, just
Like
a
at least
regular
50,
wedding.
like almost 100K.
Yeah, it's 50 to 100, which to me
Sounds
feels
like way too much money.
it feels absurd, like to blow
I
on
think
a
like
single day.
30K sounds like good. 30K sounds good.
Even that is like so much money. Like that's
Yeah.
life-changing money. So in Asia, when you have a wedding, you're net positive because everybody gives you hongbao.
Really?
So red envelopes. In
Can we
Asia,
just hire more people to come from Asia?
I heard from my friends in Singapore, she literally showed me that there was it's a list of hotels. This is a public website. It tells you what hotel and depending on what day of the week it is, how much your seat there costs, and then your hongbao needs to be at least that much or more, which is a very transparent and easy to understand process. I have a lot of respect for that. It makes a lot of sense. But in America, when you host a wedding, you are always net negative. Like even breaking even is like unheard of.
How do you break even? I don't think people ever think about breaking even in America.
Because I think the issue is that culturally it's considered quote unquote like not offensive, but it's not as personal to give money as a gift, right? So we have things called registries and people pick items to gift the couple, and it's usually done through some sort of website. Let's say it's done to like Zola or Target, but basically you pay the money and then that company will ship the items directly to bride and groom. Issue with that is that some of the items on the registry are like $20, and then some of the items on the
Like
registry are like $1,000.
But also, like, it's different these days. Like, a lot of couples, like, when, in the past, traditionally, like, you'd move in.
But I think culturally, because we are Asian American, neither of us find it to be offensive to receive hongbao. I will say it does feel special. Like when I look at a gift in my home and it's from a specific person, I think of them every time.
But it's
I use
hard
it.
to have, like, a good gift, right? Like,
That's why you have the registry. You pre-pick the gifts that you want.
I cannot think about that many things we need. Kevin's Tesla registry.
Everyone donate to Kevin's Tesla fund.
Yes. Will it be a Model 3? Would it be a model, like a model of a Model 3?
It's going to be a model.
Model of a Model 3, or is it going to be a Model X?
How about Kevin's student loan fund?
Oh, yes. That's good.
Yeah.
What about your wedding dress? How are you going to get your wedding dress?
Okay, so...
You already, like, tried on wedding dresses without me.
I did actually try on wedding dresses in Singapore, kind of coincidentally by chance, because my dear friend is good friends with... She's now my friend too, but she actually owns a bridal shop in Singapore, and I happen to be... I was going to say I happen to be in the area, but when you're in Singapore, everything is kind of in the same area, because it's a small country. And so I had the pleasure of trying on some dresses, and it was so much fun.
Are you going to buy your wedding dress, or are you going to rent it?
No, I think I will rent my wedding dress because personally, like, I don't think I would ever wear it again. And
just sit in the back of your closet.
Yeah. And, people are like, oh, but what if your granddaughter wants to wear it?
Just get a new one. It's going to be like 30 years.
Yeah, I'm going to get them a new dress. So I guess, like, if I was
Like if you mom gave you her wedding dress, would you be like happy to wear it or be like, what the heck?
My mom had a really pretty wedding dress, so I'd be okay with it. Beside that point, like I would love to do some outfit changes at the wedding.
Okay.
Because I do want a traditional gown for like the actual ceremony, but I feel like
traditional Chinese, like
traditional, like an A-line ball gown.
Okay.
But I feel like my best feature is my legs, so I would love to have a short white dress to be able to for the dance floor.
Do you want to do like some cultural stuff too?
Yeah, do you want a tea ceremony?
Yeah.
You do want a tea ceremony?
I'm down.
Kevin is down for all the cultural
I'm down.
things.
Would you be?
Yeah, I'll do it if you want to do it.
Do you want to like go in the little like thing where the guy's like holding it up and then have a thing over your face and you have to like lift
Kevin
it up?
wants to be in the plankin'. You want to be in there.
Like in the
it's
TV
not
shows.
even for me. Like
it's like
you
TV
want
shows.
to
You want
do
to
it.
wear the shoes that have like the wooden slats.
True or false? You want to do it.
Yes.
We can go to Taiwan and
do the photo shoot for that.
Yeah, they literally from start to finish, and it's so affordable. They do everything. They plan. They do the makeup, the hair, the outfits, the pictures. Like, it's a whole thing. Are we having a wedding for sure?
I don't know. I'm not in charge of these things. These are things that you're in charge of.
How much of the wedding planning, like, do you want to help with?
I can like do logistics. I'm good at the logistics, like the flights, the venue, and like the dates and like what happens when and what. And
I see. We are just very happy to be engaged and being in this season of life, and we're not in any rush, right?
Yes, Miki got her ring, so she's happy now. We like to take notes every time we go to a wedding together. We're like, they did this part well.
We will keep you guys posted on what we decide. If you guys have any wedding planning tips / things you wish you did or didn't do, that would be super helpful to us. And we'll see you guys next week. Bye!